you're thinking about making the move to Cleveland, Ohio, more specifically Macedonia, Ohio, well, in today's video, we got you covered. We're gonna look over all the pros and cons about living in Macedonia, giving you just the insights, all the details. You know, we're gonna talk about what's great about it, what's not so great about it, some of the surrounding cities, and what you can expect if you were to come and buy a house in Macedonia, Ohio, or if you were just to visit, what you would see in general, right? So stay tuned. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to dive deeper into the real estate side of things, make sure to reach out and send me a message in some degree. I'll be happy to help do a little bit more of a personalized one-on-one review. But otherwise, share this video if you think it'll help anyone, and let me know what you want to hear about next, right? So stay tuned and let's jump into the video. Here we go. If you're new to the channel and you want to know all things about living in Cleveland, Ohio, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you can be notified when we upload a new video and stay current on all things Cleveland. My name is Kip Sweeney with Living Cleveland, Ohio, powered by Mancuso Homes, eXp Realty. We get calls from people just like yourself every single day looking to move in 9 days or 9 months, whatever that might be. We're here to help assist and make a smooth transition to the Cleveland area. Now, my contact information is in the description box below, so make sure to reach out, send a text, give me a call. If you're local, let's meet in person. I'll buy you a coffee, that's always best, or let's hop on Zoom and we can do a virtual face-to-face. But nonetheless, let's connect and let's speak about everything real estate and what it is that you're exactly looking for. But in today's video, we are going to jump in and we are going to talk about the pros and cons of Macedonia, Ohio. So let's begin. So, as you can see, no green screen, and I don't know if you see the dog, but it's a little bit quieter here for me today. The dogs are a little tired, so I don't have to be worried about the noise. So I get to change up the scenery a little bit. The scenery is the proper word, but no green screen for me today, which is great. Hopefully it makes my mustache look a little better because when I'm in front of that green screen, it just doesn't look great, but it's here to stay. However, let's jump into the first pro. We're gonna talk about the location. So, not necessarily labeled as it, but I'm going to label it as the triangle hub between Cleveland, Akron, and Solon. You have 3 unique urban environments to go and visit, all within a pretty close drive. And not only that, but also for work, right? So for Cleveland, you're about 35 minutes away. For Akron, you're about 25 minutes away. And Solon, you're gonna be looking at a little bit more of that 20 to 25 minutes as well. So not a bad drive to really any of the locations, but also offering quite a bit of difference between one from the other. So Solon's gonna be a little bit of the outlier. It's not gonna necessarily be that urban lifestyle like a downtown space like Cleveland or Akron, of course, but it has quite a bit to offer, a lot of jobs as well, and a lot of people going there for work. Along with Independence, Ohio, Independence is going to be about 15 minutes away. You're gonna see that being a lot of a prime spot for many of the jobs and a lot of the workforce going there from a multitude of different industries, whether it's finance, tech, healthcare, really you name it, and you're gonna pretty much find it there. So it's gonna be a great location for you depending on your work style and what you do and what you're looking for. But not only that, it's a very unique location because you're near all the freeways. So again, this is kind of why it's easy to get to all those different places because of how close you are to 480, 271. And lastly, to the turnpike itself, if you have to take the turnpike, you're nearby all of them. It's in a very quick drive. And then of course, once you hop on there, you're golden, right? You're good to go. But it's something that you're going to be able to have an amazing location with, an amazing kind of ability to get around town, to get to other areas, and to really explore what Macedonia has to offer or nearby cities. Right? So it's a great spot in that sense, but also one of the unique features about Macedonia and its location is one of the few suburbs that's going to be within 15-minute drive to a major ski resort, major healthcare system, and a national park, which is pretty cool. All under 15 minutes driving and getting around, you can really explore and experience any of those 3 things. Now, of course, the healthcare and the hospitals, I guess you don't want to always be going there, of course, but if you work at a hospital, then hey, that's fantastic. But I also want to add a little bit of an asterisk about that ski resort because don't expect it to be like the Black Diamonds or in Colorado or something crazy, but it does offer kind of a lot of fun for people, locals and all those around us to go out and just have a nice day if you want to go skiing or snowboarding and enjoy what it has to offer. It's not terrible by any means, but you're going to be, someone that's pretty advanced might get a little bored. Something that is cool though, if you're interested in jumps, rails, more of like a trick park type of thing, they do always have that, which is pretty nice. So no matter your level, you're able to experience that, and you can try new things if you're pretty advanced, or if you're newer to it, you get the opportunity to give it a go. Right? So that's pretty fun in itself. Another thing I want to talk about location, Macedonia is in Summit County, which is going to be just south of Cuyahoga County, which is where most of like the Cleveland suburbs are. But what this feature in this pro is, this advantage, is that Summit County typically has less taxes, which is nice. Now, Macedonia is pretty average. They're gonna sit in the middle of taxes, especially compared to some neighboring cities. But also what's important to note is that Macedonia has also held those strong home values, even with some of the neighboring cities having a little bit of a stagnation or even a little bit of a decline at times. So Macedonia is held strong, but also it's not going to kill the bank or break the bank with some of the property values, the taxes I should say, like some other counties, specifically Cuyahoga County, which does have a higher rate. So that is going to be a nice positive as well. The next pro is going to be the access to the outdoor lifestyle. Now, we talked about how we have access to the freeways. We are at Triangle Hub. You're able to get downtown Akron or Cleveland or even going to Solon very easily, quickly, not bad drive whatsoever. But also with the outdoor space. Again, I told you within 15 minutes to a national park towards Cuyahoga Valley, it's going to be something that you really get to enjoy. So you're actually just going to be minutes from Brandywine Falls, which this is also going to be where you actually find the ski resort in the winter. So it's kind of like a dual thing, like I guess probably most of these places are, depending on the season. But you're also gonna be from minutes away from a bike and trail path that goes over 30 miles long. So it's something that you're going to be able to get out and about, get on that path, ride it, walk it, whatever it may be. And it stretches, again, over 30 miles. It's nice. It's going to be safe, enjoyable. You're gonna enjoy the weather on it. You're gonna be able to enjoy the scenery, the nature, and really get good exercise from taking that. So again, the Summit County, or the Summit Metro Parks, I should say, trailheads here in Macedonia. So it meets up with CVNP, so the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, which is pretty cool because what you can do actually, if you're up for a longer ride, you're able to actually ride through 3 cities in one afternoon pretty easily by taking these trails and taking these paths. A lot of people will take it, go and get lunch down the valley, and they'll enjoy it. They'll maybe hike or trail run a little bit out as well, and then they'll make their way back home using these trails. So it's a very easy way to get to these places and enjoy these places in an afternoon without having to bike with cars or even have to risk cars generally. You're gonna be able to stay away from them and enjoy the nature rather than all the loud noises of all the different cars passing by or getting too close and things like that. Longwood Park is going to be probably one of the most popular spots in Macedonia for outdoor space. So it's going to include lighted trails to walk through wooded area. It's going to include a splash pad area, basketball courts. It's going to have other aspects and other fun things like playgrounds, just green space, right, to go and enjoy. I think tennis courts as well. It's going to be something that you really can have fun at, and you can really kind of have the whole family there. And it's not obviously hard to get to, but along with that, a lot of events will go on here. So you have the Longwood Fall Fest, or the Fall Fest at Longwood, I should say, where you're gonna have pumpkin carving, you have just different events, food trucks, just different fall festivities. I believe there's a community bonfire one year. I'm sure they do it every year, but it's just differing fall festivities that are really cool with the pumpkin carving, the different foods, the food trucks, things that you get to try and really have an enjoyable, fun time, whether it's with you and the kids and the children. You can try and let me know how it goes, but something that you can really look forward to, and you know that it's going to be put on. So that's kind of a lot of fun as well. Longwood Park also has a big fishing pond. I forgot to include that after I finished, which is a ton of fun, and you will see a lot of people with their young children going there fishing and enjoying that as well. So Macedonia is really going to be a safe community as well. So that's our next pro. So it's going to have that small town feel, but with a big time, I guess, police force. So it's going to have a very safe feel. It is very safe. They always have low crime rates. and they always do a lot to help aid in keeping it safe, whether that's community watch or that's just different seminars that go on teaching, how to keep yourself safe, what to look for, or, another one that's actually pretty nice to help stop bullying just in general. Just different campaigns of these natures where they really give back to the community to help keep it healthy, keep it safe, to keep that crime rate low. So this is going to be a huge pro for the city itself. Many people do truly know their neighbor in Macedonia, but along with that, they do offer community engagement units, which if you have a loved one that's in the area, if you have an elderly parent that lives there, or you're, looking in on a child or something of that nature, you're able to just say, hey, can you please go to XYZ 123 Main Street and check in on Betsy or whatever, my grandmother, just to see if she's doing okay. She didn't answer her phone, whatever it may be. And it's something that's, it's not something that's like, okay, it's something they take pride into, and they're happy to do so to make sure that everyone's healthy, everyone's safe, and everyone's where they need to be. So it's a big positive for the city itself. Next up, gonna be the school system. Again, as every single video that I have spoken on in the cities, I can't talk about the schools the whole time being a real estate agent, but I advise you to go to greatschools.org or niche.com and to really see it for yourself and do your own research. But I will tell you that it is going to fall under the pros. You're going to be happy with it. It's just that you're going to be able to experience the extracurricular activities. Again, I failed that, but you're going to have sports. You're going to have a lot of extra stuff that students are going to be able to take part in and really expand just not only what the school has to offer, but what is offered outside of the school as well to students with programs and sports and just different things to continue to build their interests, and also for you guys as maybe a parent to be able to have your children stay a little longer, if you can't pick them up right away or something of that nature. Well, they still have the buses that they'd be able to take, but nonetheless, you at least know where they are, that they're getting that extra experience, or that they're doing something that's school related, which is always kind of a nice feeling, making sure that they're continuing to expand and to socialize, to learn, and just to really be out there and kind of putting themselves out there, especially in a time when, technology, ironically right now, right? But technology has taken over, and it's not something that, you don't want to just use to put your child into, or have them come home and just to jump online or something like that. So it's kind of a nice thing that you're able to trust that the schools will help keep them away from that per se, in a sense, but also knowing that they're getting a great education. So two things I want to note about the school system as well is that they do a lot of AP courses. I know a lot of other schools do this as well, but AP courses, you can get dual credits and get a hard head start. They partner with Kent State and Tri-C, so they can kind of get a little bit of a head start with college credits, which is kind of nice. But also a unique feature about the schools is that Nordonia's band program is highly competitive. They've performed in tons of different places and actually are really well known per se, especially in this area. So it's actually really cool if you have a child, if anyone really, if you're interested in just watching the show, watching what they put on, it's going to be a pretty good performance. They are well known and they are competitive, and they really do take pride in that aspect. It's a really cool, unique thing that I wouldn't say all schools have the ability to say they're good at. Alrighty, next pro is going to be talking about housing, right? That's what I would hope we are all here for. So you have stable home values throughout Macedonia, but along with that, you also have some newer builds. You have most of the homes being built between the 1990s and the 2010s, which is nice. It's not the most new, right? But it's not also the oldest. You're not getting century homes. So you know that at least it's going to be in good condition for the most part. You also know that it's not going to have gone through a ton of different repairs, renovations. It's not going to have gone through a ton of different owners and all of those features or aspects as well. So that's a huge positive for this. Along with the fact that they were built a little bit more in a recent time, many of the neighborhoods have that nice layout and the clean look, tree-lined streets. So that is something that's nice about Macedonia. You're going to be able to get a unique styled home and be able to enjoy it without going into the neighborhood and everything looking the exact same. What are some of those common homes, you may ask? What's the style, what's the architecture? So you're gonna see some two-story colonial homes, some more of the modern ranch styles or split levels, and a lot of homes that have basements, which if you've never had a basement before, you will love them. The added space is amazing. So I highly always recommend a basement unless you have a fear of them, I don't know. But also they bring safety. Not saying that we have tornadoes constantly, but if there were to be a tornado in Ohio, in Cleveland, right here, you would be able to have that safety going into the basement and keeping you safe and your loved ones, of course. So along with this and being they're a little bit newer of homes, many of these houses are going to have a little bit of a nicer layout with open kitchen or 2-car garage attached and just more space a little bit. But to kind of go off of this as well, you're gonna see an average of homes sitting on 0.3 to 0.6 acres of land, which really isn't that bad. Now, some people may want more. Some people might say, hey, this is perfect. I actually like this amount. It's not too much for me to take care of. And it gives me a little bit of privacy. But you're also going to see a lot of cul-de-sacs. You're going to see your kind of traditional neighborhoods with some entrances, with sidewalks, with the mature trees as well. And just going to be able to have that neighborhood community feel every time you enter your neighborhood, which is really, really comfortable, especially fun seeing it change in the fall and in the spring and having that summer, the sunlight coming through. It really is, I guess not a word that I want to use, but a vibe per se. It really just makes you feel good, puts a smile on your face, unless you're driving in the winter and there's a lot of snow. Then we might have differing views. But it's something that you can enjoy and really have pride in when you're driving home. And again, thanks to the schools, the infrastructure, and the location being in that triangle hub per se, values tend to hold up very well with homes, and they tend to go and stay that way for a while. But the nice thing here that I haven't touched on is that you can find a home no matter where you are in your home buying journey. So if you are a first-time home buyer, there's gonna be something for you. If you are somebody looking to upgrade, you need a lot more space, you have more children or whatever it may be, you just want to, you have that opportunity as well. Or if you're a retiree and you're looking to downsize, you're gonna have that ability as well. So there's really something for everyone, from first-time home buyers all the way up to experienced buyers, I guess. And you're gonna be able to find what suits your needs, which is really nice. So the price point is going to be very flexible, and also along with that, you're going to see a little bit more of the favorable sized layout homes, right? So maybe 3-2s, 4-2s, things like that. It's not like it was once, or in some other older neighborhoods where you see a lot of 1-bath or 3-bed, 1-bath homes. So that's a huge pro as well. Now, one last unique feature of Macedonia is that you really do have a lot of private communities that actually don't have any HOAs, which is great. Some do, of course, right? But some don't. So you really have flexibility, whether you're looking for the HOA because you want some of the kind of security that comes with it, keeping the property up to date and all that type of stuff, great. Or if you don't, you can find places that don't have that HOA, so you don't have to pay that monthly fee. So really, it's whatever you want, you're gonna be able to find in the Macedonia area, which is awesome. All right, so let's talk next pro is going to be the suburban convenience. So you're going to get big retail without having to go into the city or elsewhere, really. You're gonna be able to experience and get those stores from Macedonia Commons, which is going to bring you Target, Home Depot, PetSmart, other places like Best Buy just nearby, or fitness centers, Walmart, things of that nature. So you're really gonna be able to get these big retail stores close by. But it's not to say that you're going to be bombarded with big retail stores. You're gonna have some chains and family-owned places, family-owned like Chick-fil-A is also there, but you do actually truly have local businesses as well, with Blue Willow Lounge, as well as Rosati's Pizza, but also you have Rosati's ice cream, which is amazing. If you like malts, you're gonna love it. If you don't like malt, they have other ice cream as well, which is very good as well. So you're gonna see people standing out in line at the ice cream shop pretty much every single night during the summer. So you know that it's good. It's always a top rated place, and you can enjoy that and also support local families, which is awesome. However, Macedonia really truly has all that you need when it comes to shopping. So you don't have to leave the city to go shopping. You don't have to leave to go places, which is nice. You have your big shops, your retail, you have your medium-sized companies, and you do have your locally owned businesses as well, which is really nice. And so whatever it is that you're looking for, whether it's a grocery store, ice cream shop, local restaurants, or something specific, because there is a Hobby Lobby for arts and crafts, stuff like that, you're going to be able to find it in Macedonia. But the nice thing is you're not driving to the city, you're getting free parking, you're not battling all the traffic that comes with this city life. So you're getting that suburban feel and you're getting that nice retail shop, well, the nice convenience of the retail shops nearby. It's a very easy drive. Now, sure, we're gonna touch on this a little bit later. You might encounter some traffic, but where won't you? If you know anywhere, let me know. But that's gonna be a big pro, is just the fact that you don't have to drive everywhere or outside of the city to get to these places. Let's jump into some of the cons. So the first con that we're gonna talk about is the limited nightlife. So there is no downtown space per se. You know, you're not gonna have like a main street or really a walkable restaurant row or bar row, anything like that. So you're not gonna find that in Macedonia, which it's really truly just gonna be suburban. You know, its functionality is going to be suburban. So that's kind of a downside of it. If you want that nightlife, depending on how crazy of a nightlife you want, if you want clubs, you're gonna see yourself going to Akron or Cleveland, of course. But if you just want something where you're able to walk and have different restaurants and, you know, maybe a couple bars and ice cream shops, then you're gonna be going to nearby cities like Hudson or Cuyahoga Falls. I guess you can go to Chagrin. That's gonna be a little bit of a further drive, but you could do that as well. But these are gonna be Cuyahoga Falls and Hudson are gonna be two nearby areas where you're gonna be able to do this and enjoy those things. I do have a video on these places, so if you wanna check them out, you can, but those are gonna have an offer, some nice, quaint downtown spaces that you're going to be able to walk around, have fun, enjoy it, go to restaurants, a couple bars, get some ice cream afterwards. Maybe there's different festivals that are going on within the city and they're, you know, happening in those downtown spaces, in the green spaces down there, in those spots. You're gonna be able to partake in them. So it's really not a bad drive whatsoever and something that you can look forward to once again. But the big con is the fact that, you know, Macedonia doesn't offer it. Now, it's not like it's gonna be a big drive or something of that nature to get to these areas. So it's not too big of an issue. But I guess one thing you'd consider if you are looking for more of a club lifestyle and you have to Uber downtown all the time, that Uber can start to get a little bit more expensive, or the wait time to get that Uber from home being in Macedonia to downtown or to Cleveland, to Akron might take a little longer. So it's just something to keep in mind that, hey, that drive might be a little longer and it might take a little longer to get that Uber when we want to go downtown, if that's the case, if you're not driving, of course. All right, so let's talk about the weather. It's always going to be a con when I talk about any city here, just because we have all 4 seasons. We have cold days, we have snow, we have days that experience all 4 seasons in one day. Just had it yesterday. And if you're a basketball fan, go check out Kenny Atkinson's recent interview, April 7th. So that way you could just, you know, take it from him, someone that doesn't actually live here, but he was surprised by it. We do experience a lot of different ups and downs. We just had snow 2 days ago on the 6th, so it wasn't anything crazy, but it was here. Now, Macedonia does sit out of the official snow belt, right? So you're safe there. You know, you're not gonna get hammered constantly. However, if you were to get all that snow, I will say Macedonia has a great turnaround time and they do a great job of plowing, salting, and making sure that that stuff is up and cleared in a quick manner and efficiently as well. So sure, the con is the weather, the snow, but you can't handle that. You can't change that. None of us can. However, unless you move elsewhere. But the city does a great job of making sure that it is taken care of quickly and keeping everyone safe and on the roads. So it's not a terrible thing to experience. I can't talk too highly of the other areas, but Macedonia itself is going to keep you on the road and safe. So no worries there. All right, so the next con, I spoke a little bit about it earlier, but the high-ish property taxes. So it's gonna fall between that 2.5 to 2.7% of the assessed value, the property taxes are going to. Now, it's not necessarily the most compared to some of the other cities, but it's also not going to be the cheapest. However, a lot of that money goes to the infrastructure, the parks, the city, the schools, all of that, which people truly do enjoy and do like about the fact, but it's still a budget consideration. I mean, it's something that you have to take in to really know and to understand that, hey, is this good for us? So I wanna make sure that you're aware of it and that you can consider that when looking at home prices and homes that reside in Macedonia. So it's just a little snippet. It's something to think about, but the more that you know, the better, and the better and more helpful I think it is to make a decision what you want to do. So just, you know, food for thought. Next up, the limited or really non-existent public transportation and walkability. So, and I'm gonna actually toss in infrastructure into this because I told you earlier that it's really not bad, the traffic, but you might still run into some. The one thing that I'm going to talk about here with Macedonia is that they do have some spots where it goes down into 2 lanes, and it's usually it's at a 5-way light, right? So it goes into 2 lanes at a 5-way light, which can cause some backup, especially during those peak hours. And I would say this is going to be one of the main times where it is a little bit of a pain to get around. Now, in most of the more of the populated areas, you do have 2 lanes. I'm just thinking you just have really 2 lanes either side that offers quicker transportation. But as you continue to kind of go into some of the less populated spots, even though there's still a lot of traffic, it cuts down to 1 lane both sides, and that can cause some backup, and it'll cause it to be a little bit slower at times, especially during those peak hours. So you do need to it is something that you would think about. Like, I remember I used to definitely think about it. There was a Domino's that I used to love to go to and pick up my food, but when I did, I would reconsider sometimes the time, or I would either leave earlier to make sure that my food was still warm when I got there. But it can be a little bit of a pain at times, I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is, but let's jump back to the transportation. Now, there really isn't an RTA, and the sidewalks, because of the way the infrastructure is and the wider roads, you don't have a ton necessarily on those main roads. You have them in the neighborhoods, but nothing crazy on those big main roads, which I guess isn't uncommon, but it's just something to note. And then along with that, bike paths on the main roads really aren't going to be useful. There aren't any because of the traffic. So you're really going to see yourself biking on the trails, which is really where you're gonna stay and where everyone truly does stay. I think now if you're an actual like advanced cyclist, you can ride. I haven't really seen anyone, so I can't say that it's common to see them in that area, but it's not something that I would say doesn't happen. You might just take a bit of a different route depending on what you're doing, where you're going, but they're there. So a second car or having a car really is essential. But they have talked about trail extensions, which is nice, but it's a long-term plan. So it'll be there eventually for sure. It's not gonna happen overnight, right? All right, and I would say our last con for today is going to be the limited architectural diversity. Now, I told you primarily you have colonial ranches, split level homes, but it's really gonna stay that way too, especially with some of the newer construction following suit, but not that this is technically a bad thing. It's just because it's not cookie cutter. These neighborhoods aren't cookie cutter, which is great. But for some people that may be looking for a modern home, like modern architectural style, you may not find that in Macedonia. But not saying that it's not impossible, it's just gonna be pretty uncommon. So it's just something to keep in mind along with this, and kind of along with the con of the lack of a downtown or a main street. There isn't going to have that historical charm per se, unlike Hudson or even Cuyahoga Falls or other places maybe like Medina or Lakewood. So you're not gonna have that historical charm per se. You're not gonna really find those mid-century or those historic homes or even those urban loft style homes, right? So you're not really going to get that here. You're gonna see again the 1990s into the 2000s and even into the 2010s. Up to 2015 probably, and you're gonna find that the architectural and the style's pretty similar, which isn't an awful thing because new construction does still exist. It is happening, so you do still have new homes being built, which is nice, but it can gear a little bit towards that developer grade at the moment, not necessarily the custom side of things, which is, you know, give or take. Now you can of course build a custom home and find land to do so, or do a tear down, and it's totally up to you. But just saying what's there now and what is available and what you'll probably most likely see if you choose to drive around or when my vlog comes out is going to be more the same with that colonial, that ranch style home split levels. So it's just something to, again, think about. It depends because everyone has a different style, everyone has a different taste, and it's just something that you need to know. If you're really looking for unique builds, Hudson has some, but Hudson is very, very strict about their builds. They have that historic charm that they're really trying to preserve and to keep. So they're very strict about that, but Akron has some, Cleveland has some, especially Ohio City and Tremont. Those 2 cities in Cleveland are gonna offer quite a bit of variety, which is actually really fun when you walk down up the streets or drive up and down the streets, of course. So just things to think about and things to note. So that will do it for our pros and cons today. I hope this was helpful. I hope this gave you good insight into Macedonia, Ohio. And if there's anything that I missed, whether it's just a general topic that I might have missed and you want to know, hey, is that available? Is it a pro or a con? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. If you guys are from Macedonia, or if you lived in it, or you're from the area, whatever it may be, and I missed any information, again, please leave that in the comments below so that we can make sure that everyone that comes here is well informed and can have the most information possible when they're going on making their decision about where they might want to move or about where they might want to live. But otherwise, please share this video, give it a like, and if there's anyone that I can help with their real estate needs, don't hesitate to reach out. Give me a call, send me a text, let's meet in person, whatever it may be, a Zoom, I'm happy to help you and to make sure that you get to the right spot and have all that information so you can make the right decision as well. Otherwise, let me know what you want to hear about next or learn about next. I will be happy to make a video on it, but this is it for today. I hope you learned a lot. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.